I'd now like to welcome John Adams, who is the executive chairman of the Gerontology Research Group and the CEO of the Aging Intervention Foundation. John, the floor is yours.
Well, thanks. You can call me Johnny. Friends
Okay,
call me Johnny. And my mission in life, pretty much, is to solve the problem of biological aging so we can all stay young and healthy for a very long time. That's why we're here. That's in common with a lot of you. But the big question is, after we do that, then what? Well, then on to solve many other problems facing the world today. And to do all that, we need more time. Now, I don't normally talk as fast as I do, or as I will during this brief, I guess I have about 14 minutes left presentation. I have a lot of material to rip through quickly. And in keeping with the theme of this webinar, which I'll remind us is building a knowledge and collaboration platform. And all that happens through people, by the way. I'll show you two kinds of things. One is I'll show you my own ideas regarding sets of biomarkers and objective measures for your consideration by Franco and the Aging Analytics Agency and others in this group attending today. And they are practical, relatively low cost measures. They have served me well in managing my own foundation's small studies and pilot studies, as well as guiding and informing my own self-directed age management research program. And to that end, I've also developed relationships with some companies that are offering highly innovative biomarkers. You could call me a facilitator in my relationship with these companies. You might normally call it an independent rep, but I'm not in it for personal gain. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to advance the state of the science and get more healthy years. So I can help, through my relationships, I can help innovative researchers with the selection of various biomarkers and also get them at the lowest cost and hassle-free. Also in keeping with the theme of this webinar, regarding a software platform to manage and analyze data, I'll show some ideas to consider about how one might look and help this organization with its development. So first, to set the stage, and this fits again with the theme of this meeting, I believe, I'm going to take you to the Aging Metrics site. And I think first I have to share my screen. Great, this is agingmetrics.org. This is just the 30,000 foot view, so to speak. The organization and I provide valuable biomarkers and objective measures and data management and analysis and other software systems. And I want to be clear that this is, I have to restrict this in some ways. There's only so much time, only to researchers developing the most innovative aging therapies with greatest potential for much longer healthy lifespans. And I'll talk about what that means in a minute, but all this is offered at low or no cost and possible funding provided by the foundation and subsidized by donors and supporters and my own volunteer efforts. So examples of the kinds of aging therapies that we're particularly interested in supporting, and there's a reason for that and a reason why you, by attending this seminar today, should be interested in these therapies, among others that you may consider. But in my humble estimation and those of some advisors, these have the greatest opportunity for youth enhancing, youth promoting, roll back the aging clock, age management, anti-aging, whatever you want to call it, effects. The first one at the top of the list, number one, reset the epigenome, DNA methylation, and some others to a more youthful biological age. That's sometimes known as cellular reprogramming, possibly using Yamanaka factors and others. The other number one is gene editing and gene therapy. And my personal greatest interest is knock-ins of youth enhancing genes. Right up there close, there's been a lot of activity with the Comboys and Dobry and others today. Remove harmful pro-aging factors from older blood. This initiative and I personally are very interested in that. And we're doing some things, or my associates are in that regard. Also adding youth enhancing factors found in young blood, more effective senolytics, and restoring mitochondrial function. So I'm going to move along, and I have to move this down to the central hub of, where you can locate all the information that I talk about. I'm going to just very, very briefly, because, I'm not that important, but here you can see a background summary, what I'm about, if you're interested, and just the objective, solve aging. Here's some successes, a couple of writings, but some experiments that have shown positive effects and results in measured, biomarkers, umbilical cord plasma infusion, senolytics. I'm doing peptides now, Cavinson peptides. Next, this is very relevant to our theme today. And I'm going to stay on schedule, so move at a faster clip. The Aging Intervention Program, this covers a system and a list of therapies, but metrics is very important. We're going to come back to this, but I'm just going to suggest, though, something that's often overlooked in biomarkers and objective measures is that we need to truly keep in mind is the end result we seek. And I just want to start with a disclaimer. This is not advice. This is what I do. Consult your own physician if you do any of this stuff. Here are shout outs to the kinds of individuals I would like to work with. But the end results we seek, and it helps to keep this in focus. Physical, particularly mobility. We want to be able to move around the world. We want to be able to sprint to catch that bus, not to have someone wheel us in a wheelchair. And I'll add that a skilled geriatrician can often look at an elderly patient, walk down the hall and tell, how well they're doing and, how much time they have left on this earth. But physical mobility, sensory healing, I really have to skip through this. But the other category is cognitive and mental function. These are the end results we seek. We want to maintain clarity of thought, problem solving, productivity, and then finally, emotional and spiritual, a subjective feeling of well-being and enjoyment of life, connection with others. So having said that, a little later, we're going to, again, keeping with the theme of this, part 4 is metrics, and I will talk to you about that. Now, going back to a couple of other things. TikTok, 8 minutes, 24 seconds in. Okay, I'm going to end on time, but this I'm not going to get into, but the Aging Intervention Program is utilizing therapies and methods that are available now. The plan to get a great many more years, ideally open-ended healthy lifespan, that's into the future. That's what that's about. I'm not going to go into that now, but this is something that is very exciting. Age management telehealth physicians. I was honored to be named the manager of this. And with the assistance and partnership of some other very talented people. are bringing this from conception to reality. And there are different components to this, but basically it will be remote consultations with highly experienced age management physicians. We're looking at rolling that out approximately August 2021. And I'm really rather proud and honored to be involved with that. Now let's get back to some things we can do on this aging metrics site. And one of them that the kinds of biomarkers and objective measures, DNA methylation and testing. I have this independent relationship facilitator with Zymo Research. I've been with them many years. I've used them a lot. I am not a representative. I in no way represent the Clock Foundation, but I do endorse them very highly. They're doing some innovative things and at a cost that are very important. Now, an innovative company, Ginfinity Precision Medicine, is doing senescence-associated beta-galactosidase testing and NAD testing plus metabolites, oxidative stress, and for researchers, these are not available to the consumer community, but for researchers, things like AMPK, mTOR, SIRT1, Clotho, others that you read here. The Levine-Horvath phenotypic age calculation, if we have time, I'll show you that. And cognitive and mental testing, that's something I bring to the party. And our affiliates, depending on your innovative high-level research, can develop just about any biomarker test that you need. So moving on from that, here's something very quickly that I was very excited about a recent paper by Tony Weiss-Correa and Benoit Lahallier. They developed a proteome clock. So I dug in and developed a version of this that I still have to overcome some obstacles, but this is a chart of 64 subjects from a sample data that, file that I created to create this chart. No time to really go into this, I'd love to, but here is something that I make available to you right now. The Levine-Horvath phenotypic age calculation is one very low cost, very valuable measure. And we only have about 3 minutes left. You can go to this page yourself and upload, and right now this only works with LabCorp, complete blood count and metabolic panel, plus C-reactive protein reports that you can, well, I'm gonna grab one. I think I have one here ready. And extract data from up a lot of bandwidth because there, a little reminder, if you double check and make sure you have your CRP in there, you may have to enter it yourself. But notice it extracted this data from the report. So now we're going to calculate phenotypic age and the difference in some other things. So for this subject at age 69, according to this calculation, which is highly innovative, 59.08 and minus 10.35 years. So, so that's that. Well, yeah. This, which I need to expand. Yeah, this is a subject management system. There are 3 columns there. These are fictitious individuals with fictitious data. I don't know if you can see all of the measurement interspersed with the therapy data. We're going to turn this into charts. This is part of the age management telehealth physicians, but also the kinds of things, and I know for clinical research, it has to be anonymized, but this is the kind of thing that I could create for your research studies. There's some other things here that we're out of time. I have like half a minute left, so we have to go back to what is the most important thing that I wanted to show you today. Go back to the Aging Intervention Program, Part 4, which is the metrics section. And this discusses it, but something that gives some background, consider this. You know, when I learn of a new biomarker or objective measure, there are some questions I ask about it, like the variability, what's the cost, will it be available into the future, lots of other things. And then here are various categories of biomarkers. I break them up into lab or blood work, cognitive testing, plus physiological or functional testing. So there are two types that I've used frequently. One, a simple yet effective category for things like nutraceuticals. And I use this to demonstrate to my satisfaction, for example, that the plasmalogen by a company called Prodrome helped me in this N equals 1, not statistically relevant, but it gave me the information I needed to motivate me to continue to take the stuff. But it's 2 mental tests and then 1, 2, or 3 physical tests. So just simple. You establish a baseline over a course of days. You know, get up in the morning, you take the nutraceutical, whatever it is, and then about 20 minutes later, you repeat the test. You see whether the test numbers are better and whether there's a shift towards youth. And I recognize I'm about a minute and a half over, so I'm going to wrap this up. Now here, this gets into a little more comprehensive. This is a basic biomarker set or protocol that we used to evaluate exosomes. And it breaks out chapter and verse, you know, the formulation for everything. Exactly which lab tests, what equipment was needed, how to conduct it, and what sequence to do these different tests. And feel free to contact me anytime for more information. So here, tick-tock, we're pushing, as this graphic indicates. I'm going to wrap it up with the where we're going with this. Ultimately, once we solve aging, yeah, we'll stand around on a beach on one leg for a while and then onward to solve the rest of the problems of the world. Thank you. Sorry for going a little over.
No problem whatsoever, Johnny. Thank you. Practical and insightful as always. And on the topic of biomarkers, by the way, you and our other attendees might be interested in joining us this coming Wednesday for a virtual event being hosted by Aging Analytics Agency on the topic of human biomarkers of aging and longevity. The agenda and related materials will be available quite soon in the next day or two, and I'll be sure to send that as a follow-up to everybody who's attending today. So thank you once again, Johnny.